Welcome back to the Elevate Up Plus YouTube channel. I am your host, Steve C. I'm a leadership coach and trusted advisor. Some also call me the Sherpa. Well, today I'm excited to share a distinctive that I learned from my coach, Stephen McGee, called above the floor and below the floor thinking. And I want to start by saying there's a good book called Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read it, it's an excellent book by Viktor Frankl. And it talks about, in the book, there is this idea of choice, that I have choice in my life. And he learned this in the harshest of conditions, being in Auschwitz in World War II and being in a concentration camp, being beaten, torched to death, right? Starved, and basically deprived of all human necessities. But one thing he mentioned there is that everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. So he learned that I have choice, that the guards that were watching over him, they couldn't strip it away, they couldn't steal it, they couldn't rob what's inside of him already, the human dignity, right? This piece of us that has value, meaning, and purpose. And he was trained under Sigmund Freud as a psychiatrist, where he saw circumstances as how you maybe were raised, your upbringing, your financial status, all the things that maybe we look at as having a disadvantage that would tell you your lot in life. He looked at that and he goes, that's nonsense. Having gone through the worst of human depravity and coming out of it saying, you know what? I do have joy. I do have purpose. I do have meaning. When we look at above the floor versus below the below the floor thinking is where I'm looking at the circumstances in my life, the things that come from the outside in, and I look at that as whether I have success or not, pass or fail, good or bad. But above the floor thinking is I look at experiences, which is how can I respond to the stimulus, to the circumstances that come my way. I have attitude, I have options I have agency over my behavior, agency over my actions even, right? So when I think about this ownership mindset, when I come as an owner, I take responsibility. I take accountability for what I can do. There's a sense of power. I become more powerful as a result. And this lines to when I am aligned to my values, my meaning, my purpose in life, and I can show up to circumstances differently. Now, when I go below the floor, which is easy to do, called more of reptilian thinking, is where I can excuse my life away. I call it more of the victim mindset, whereas must be somebody else's responsibility, somebody else's fault. I can fall into blame, criticism, right? I can easily judge others and myself. So I give power away, I become powerless, right? When I'm using below the floor thinking. The good news is I can turn that at any moment to above the floor. I can choose to take a step in the direction of ownership, the direction of how can I change my state of mind, to say how can I work through the situation? What options do I have? How can I think differently in the choice that I have to make next? I mean, it happens with me. That's why I'm wearing the shirt Dad Up, to remind me, can I be playful? Can I be more loving, more purposeful for my kids and my family? Or I can just stay angry. I can yell. I can gripe. I can try to demand things and stay below. But there's an option I can play. One of the neat things that Stephen McGee taught me was this gray area addictions. We might know more of the obvious addictions like alcohol, drugs, things like porn, things like that are more obvious that we hear about or see often, but it's the gray area addictions we don't think about, like scrolling, scrolling social media, binging Netflix or TV programs, watching negative news, or getting caught up in even a lot of things that go on. We know, like politically right now with the elections, we get so caught up in the negative that it starts to drag us below the floor. We start to give excuses for why certain things happen for us in our lives. And one of the things I want to challenge you with today and encouragement is to find ways to step out of the gray area addictions that keeps us below the floor. and start to lean more into what gives me value today, what fills my cup, what gives me joy, what gives me gratitude, what gives me a sense of meaning and purpose, like my faith, my family, my vocation, my community. What things can I do to rise above the circumstances in my life? Thank you for joining me today for the Elevate It Plus YouTube channel. I stay tuned for more, and also check the show notes for the links of how we can potentially partner and work together. Have a wonderful day. Happy trails. Hi, my name is Steve C., leadership coach and trusted advisor. Some call me the Sherpa. You know, most men and women lead lives of quiet desperation. They die with the music still in them. And that's why I created the Second Mountain Project. We know of the first mountain as self-actualization from Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the second mountain that we're going to touch on. This has to do with our eulogy virtues. There's 3 pillars in this. One is energy. What kind of energy, capacity do you have to give to others at home and work? Second one is our work and our vocation. What's our calling? What do we give to that has more meaning beyond ourselves? And the third one is love. Our world needs more love today, doesn't it? And that's what we're going to spend our focus on, is how do we build up who we're being and becoming in the world today. You know, my coach, Stephen McGee, said the hardest mountain to climb is the mountain within. And there's 5 core buckets that we're going to dump into over the year together. The first one being our spiritual fitness. The second one being our physical fitness. The third one being our emotional fitness. The fourth, our mental fitness. And 5, our directional fitness. And all 5 buckets are necessary in order for us to be able to climb on the second mountain in a way where we have more capacity, more ability to step into that place. You know, I believe in the idea that we need to be the change that we wish to see in the world today. And as a result of being in this program 1 year together, is you have more fulfillment, more joy, more satisfaction, more buoyancy, and more ability to handle any circumstance that comes our way. So please join me as I look forward to having a conversation with you about how you can be part of the 2025 Elevate Up Tribe. Let's climb higher together. Happy trails.